Hey, what's up everybody? 333 Motoring. It's back in the garage. Today's episode we're going to be installing a sunroof delete. I picked up this great product from S2R Tuning. They're out of Van Nuys, California, Southern Cal. There's been some mixed reviews on this dude, you know, communication or lack thereof communication. So I guess I was pretty lucky. I ordered this on July 12th and today is, or excuse me, I got it yesterday, which was July 29th, so a couple weeks. But as you guys can see, the product looks really good, high quality. I think it only weighs like a pound or two. So what we're going to be doing today is pulling the sunroof card completely out of here. So headliner and all that stuff is already out, so we're going to get this sunroof card out of there. So I'm going to get to work on that, and I will bring the camera back on when we've made a little bit of progress. Then we're going to install the carbon fiber one and be done with it. Alright, so quick little progress check. Let me see if I can get my viewfinder out. So here are the bolts that come around here. So I have one in on either side holding it up. I just took the motor out. It has 3 longer screws that are 1, 2, and 3. So the motor just pulls off right here. So now I'm going to undo these 2 screws, one on this side, one on the passenger side, and then as you can see, there's these tubes here. Looks like for water drainage or something like that. So I'm sure that's going to hold it in place once I get these screws off, and then I'm just going to work this thing down and out, and then I'll come back on here once it's pulled out. Alright, here's a look at the sunroof card. Old versus new. This thing's got to be, I think from my research, this thing weighs like anywhere from 30 to 35 pounds, and this weighs like 1 pound. So now the next thing you got to do, I did some test fitment. There is the weather stripping that goes around the edges here. Pull that off. So now what I'm working on is, if you can see it here, the adhesive that came from the weather stripping. I'm just going to work that stuff off. I'm actually going to go get my heat gun, heat it up a little bit, and just try to work it off with this interior trim piece tool. Just plastic, I don't want to mess anything up. So I'm going to clean all that off and then test the fitment once more. And once it fits good, I'll come back on and we'll work on the final install process. One thing to be mindful of is save these little screws, because you're going to be using these for the front and the sides and mounting locations. So you got, where's it, 1, 2, and then you got 3 on each side, and then you have 4 that go along the rear, but we're going to have to tap those holes ourselves. So we'll come back on for that one, but until then, like I said, I'm going to work on this adhesive and we'll come right back. Okay, so weather stripping is off, and I just used heat gun right here on this interior trim tool. Took off all the adhesive that was in there, and then just used an adhesive remover and got most of the crap off. So I just did a mock fitting with this. Here, we'll take a look at it really quick here. Just set this thing down for you. so with the test fitting, it fits in there pretty nice. Just gonna let it kind of hang there for a second. So now you can see in the front, the holes, they line up really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fasten these 4 up front, and then these 3 along the side using the existing hardware here, and then I'll probably tap. I'm going to test the rear, so we'll see how many, if I have to tap all 4 or maybe just 2. We'll see. Some guys use, we'll put a gasket maker in here. So I live in Southern California, so this car's not going to see much rain or any at all. So I'm not going to do a gasket or anything like that. I'm just going to screw this thing in and go from there. Okay, so we're almost completed here. So what I've done is I've taken, so we have 2 remaining of the original, what are these, T25 screws here. So they're just a little bit too long to fit. So I just, let's see here, shave the tips off them, probably maybe about 2 or 3 millimeters. And then I have these other, what do these look like? Maybe 8 mil screws, and I cut the tips off of those to match. So I got one in the rear in here. So I'm using the original nuts, the T25s, in the middle here, and I'm going to use those smaller ones here on the outside. So I'm going to change my drill bit size. So let's see, drill bit size that I used was a 9/64th, and then I will probably use a 3/32 for these screws. So you can see where I trimmed it. I basically just trimmed the tip off of it here. So I'm going to get those holes drilled and finish getting this thing mounted, but I basically have all the mounts on the sides. There's 3 on each side and then 4 in the front. So, and I don't have any gasket or nothing in there, so the fitment is pretty solid. So the only other ones I need, once I get these ones in here, it'll tuck this up a little bit. I don't know if you can see it moving. It'll tuck it up here in the corner. So we'll get those mounted, and then we'll come back and look at the finished product. There it is, the S2R Tuning carbon fiber sunroof delete. It's installed. Lines are good. So we went from this horrendous contraption to this. So now there's not much going on the inside of the car here. Maybe a roll cage in the future, but anyhow, that does it for this episode of 333 Motoring. Thanks everybody for watching. If you like the content here, please subscribe. If you have a question, please leave me a comment. I'll leave the details to the product in the description. Alright, thanks for watching. See you next time.